Mama Vizi.
Yeah.
How you
Good
doing?
morning. I'm good. Good.
Nice to see you.
Well, you too.
Ah, yeah.
Ever left your phone at home?
Yeah, but I noticed immediately because I played the music in my car from the phone.
Okay.
As soon as I drove a few meters and there was no music, I thought
You went back for it.
So I went back.
Okay.
For it, yeah.
I left my phone today.
Oh
so.
no. So you are without it, like
I'm
right
without
now.
it, but at least I have a way to get on the internet. I've got this little tablet that allows me to get. Yeah. Goodness. But I will survive. I'm cool about it.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. I know many people who would at this point be in a frenzy, in a panic, and be trying to send some Okada or something to go get
to go get it for you.
I know.
Let's see how the day goes without a phone.
Yes. We will report back to you tomorrow how Mama B survived.
I'll use your phone once in a while to make. I'll use your phone once in a while to make calls. Yes.
What's mine is yours, Mama B. All right. Let's see what's in the newspaper.
Yeah, so the strangest thing happened yesterday. Now, one really arrested in Dubai, but we didn't know about it.
Can you believe
until 13th.
Yeah, so he was arrested on the 7th of December. And they only informed the Ghanaian authorities on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what, the PR of Mensgold didn't know about this?
I guess not. I guess he hadn't called him. Well, I'm guessing, right? I have no idea. I have no way of knowing. We know his father was aware, though. We know that much.
That he was in. So what, is he in prison? Is he being interrogated? Like, what's the situation? Because
he's in
December
jail, so
7,
he's in custody.
He's in custody. December 7, this is January. That's like over a month.
Yes. I don't know how the Emirati laws work.
Yeah.
And how long they can hold somebody, but they've probably charged him by now, which means they can hold him until trial if he didn't make bail.
We should send you to Dubai.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've never been there,
Maybe this is a fine opportunity.
Maybe.
Let's look for what? Tickets? Per diem?
Yes.
Okay, we'll source for it. Because we need more from this.
Are you calling for sponsorship? Sponsorship for my trip to Dubai?
Let's check out the headlines in the newspapers. I've got the Daily Graphic. We have the Times as well, the Daily Guide.
Yeah.
The
and
Finder.
The Finder and the Dispatch.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start?
Yes. Daily Graphic newspaper front page. Government officials chase Mensgold CEO in Dubai. Placement system for tertiary institutions in Offen, according to Professor Kwesi Yanka. Yana Andani's funeral continues. Prosecutions will start soon, according to the special prosecutor, Martin Amidu. Back page. Earth tremor hits Accra again. 2 dead, 6 injured in Lavanyo youth military crossfire. Center spread of the graphic. Ghana Health Service launches trauma checklist to enhance care. And state institutions are too weak, according to Professor Achu Aye. Details of that in the center spread of the paper.
Right, okay, I'll do the Ghanaian Times and maybe add the Finder or the Daily Guide. Maybe the Daily Guide. All right, so Ghanaian Times has this. Police arrest houseboy of murdered public affairs manager. We know this already from yesterday. But this is the sad story of Mrs. Josephine Asante, killed in her home. Also, cop and 2 others nabbed for robbery. And police confirm arrest of Mensgold boss in Dubai. Also, let's build strong institutions to consolidate the country's democracy. That's what Professor Ayi said at an event that I used to never miss, the New Year School. Yeah. All right, Casapreco to set up factory in Ashanti region, and tourist facility operators urged to be innovative. So that's the back page, by the way, of the Ghanaian Times, and that does it for the Times. Should I do the guide and then you do the Finder?
Please do.
All right then. So Daily Guide has these. NDC sues Electoral Commission over by-election. And AG and Iyoko storm Dubai over Nam1 arrest. Also, sexual assault suspected in Tema murder case. What a sad, sad situation if that is the case. A picture here of Madam Josephine Asante, who was killed. Right, Kotoko CEO rues missed chances, and 40 battle in Maltaveta Challenge final. Yinehin Sports Complex quality is great, and multipurpose sports complex will benefit youth. These are the stories on the back page of the Daily Guide.
Okay, so let's do the Finder now. Front page of the Finder newspaper. 44 perish in fire outbreaks, while properties worth 29 million Ghana cedis destroyed in 2018. TUC proposes 15% downward review of utility tariffs. Iyoko's silence on Nam1 saga worrying. First Sky Group donates 1 million Ghana cedis to the National Road Safety Commission to fight road accidents. And Data Bank refutes claims of dealing in gold collectibles.
Right, let me add the Dispatch because actually I think the Dispatch has the most fascinating headlines today. So in the corner, it advertises what will be in tomorrow's Dispatch, something about housing conditions. But today, a retired policeman's revelations. I arrested Nam1 in 2012 for defrauding 53 persons. Now, this is a story I've been aware of for a while, but this is the first time we've heard from the police officer who did the arrest. And he reveals a lot about that case and how, if it had been handled properly, we would never have had Mensgold.
This man would retire like a year after that investigation, right?
Yes, that's right. And then the investigation, well, the court case fizzled and died. Whether it was paid to fizzle and die or not is another matter we don't have the detail of. Now, you've heard of the 10 years challenge, right?
Yes.
It's all over social media. Have you done yours?
No.
No? Oh, Mama B doesn't want to break our hearts.
So yesterday I was trying to trace like where did it even start?
Come from?
Yeah, like who started it?
It's a fascinating exercise though, you know. It made me go looking for old pictures and I was duly disappointed at the quality of life that I was clearly
10 years ago.
Living 10 years ago. But it's funny. It's amusing to see pictures of people, you know, to 2008.
I realized one thing though, a lot of people saying thank you to God for how far He's brought them.
Indeed, a lot of people looking better today than they did 10 years ago. That is wonderful. Well, there's a 10 years challenge for Nam1 here on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. There's a picture of him in 2010 and a picture of him in his plane last year. And yes, well, somebody has brought him far, but whether it's God or not, that's another matter for another day. Also, IES exposes government. There is no oil discovery in Ghana. Oh, interesting. And Nam1 was arrested in Dubai 5 weeks ago, according to the Ghana police. On the back, NPP's Arthur K. on your health in 2016. Ignore Dr. Google, he says. Although here it's written as Dr. Goggle, so I don't know whether they're talking about something else. Okay, so that's the Dispatch.
Okay, so I thought we would save Mensgold Nam1 for last, perhaps.
Okay.
This story on page 16 about tertiary institutions going through the placement system. I saw it. I read it over the weekend, and I thought, okay, what are we trying to cure? Like, what's the problem? What's the issue with the tertiary institutions? But let me just read a bit from the story in the newspaper. Story by George Foley in Koforidia says, the Ministry of Education is planning to introduce a placement system for the admission of students to tertiary institutions. The new system will replace the current stressful and expensive system where applicants purchase separate application forms for each university. The proposal for the adoption of the centralized system was submitted by a 9-member committee the ministry set up to holistically look at tertiary education in the country and come up with recommendations on how to make it more functional. So after completing its work, the committee, under the chairmanship of Professor Cliff Tego, a former vice-chancellor of the University of Ghana, Legon, submitted the tertiary education policy document to the ministry on November 1, 2018. Right. So this is where this new direction is coming from. One proposal currently under contemplation by the Ministry of Education has also incidentally been proposed by this draft policy document. It is a proposal for a centralized university admissions and placement service, CAPS, which replaces, and they say, stressful and rather expensive system of applying to separate universities in Ghana. We know how the secondary school placement system is like, right? Do we need a replica of it in tertiary institutions?
Now, you see, in other countries, they have a system for this. You go, you fill your form, you make your choices, and, you know, they do the rest. But you see, there is a human interface. It's not just the computer that is assigning you left, right, and center. The universities have admission boards. They have people who review your application. They take all kinds of mitigating circumstances into consideration, and they basically pick their students on a case-by-case basis. So if there are going to be 1,000 students that year, all of those 1,000 applications will be read, and it includes an essay. So you are basically giving the opportunity to convince the university to pick you. Okay, that's how some young people end up being picked by 10 universities, you know, because all 10 of them read the essay and thought, yeah, we want this kid. You know, so there is a certain balance of the technology and the human interface. If we are going for some sort of automatic placement system, it's not only lazy, but it's going to be counterproductive. I mean, it's hard enough as it is, you know, because even when you've passed your exams, there is no guarantee that you will make it into the university. Even when your grades are better than others, there is still no guarantee that you make it into the university that you want to go into. Because where we have applied the human interface, it has been the corrupt interface, you know, where people just pick their friends, family members, whatever, whomever comes to give you a good...
But, you know, it hasn't been so bad, right? I mean, I know that, for instance, the medical school, like those specialized areas, is quite tough, especially when you have lecturers, children of lecturers also competing. I mean, usually you can't compete.
There is a place called
protocol list.
There is a place called Gambia. It's not actually a place; it is a state of being at University of Cape Coast. That is when you've applied, and they put you
Cape
on.
Coast, yeah?
Yes.
Oh.
When you've applied to, you know, be a student, and you are on a waiting list. So basically, you have to wait for a period of about, 3 weeks or so, while, you know, and there is a full list of admitted students, but you are waiting to see those who won't turn up, those
so you
who
can
perhaps
replace them.
have been picked by other universities, so that you can replace them. Gambia, it's a horrifying place. And while you're there, you pay people, all kinds of people, all kinds of money, in the hope of getting admission. People were approaching me, the son of a lecturer.
Yeah.
And asking if I could take money to get their children admission.
Yeah.
I said, look, and I had to explain to them. I said, look, I finished university this year. I could have, I finished secondary school this year. I could have come straight to university because my father is the Pro Vice Chancellor. I could have. But my father will never do that. He will, first of all, never let me into the university if I haven't passed and qualified. He will never interfere in the process that may or may not choose me as a student. He will just never do it. He doesn't even want the shame of having to go and stand in front of his colleague lecturer and say, please pick my son.
Do me a favor and get my son through.
He will never do it. So imagine you are coming to ask me to go and give him money to do that for you when he wouldn't do it for his son.
So it's true that it's stressful and expensive. I didn't go through the process. So
absolutely, Mama V.
I went to Central University.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
that
Very
stressful.
different, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, it is extremely stressful. I understand the need for a solution, but I don't know if this is the best solution. I think we should keep working on it. We should look at what we've got, what we're proposing, see where it could really be abused, and see if we can fix it. Because what we've seen at the secondary level, I don't think we can call it a success.
Well, they say they've made exploratory visits to the United Kingdom and Nigeria. And so to understudy how the system worked in the two countries.
Right.
And so Professor Yanka was given an update on the number of measures being taken by the government to give more meaning to tertiary education. So we probably seem ready, especially when this proposal is coming from persons within the institutions,
Yeah. We'll see.
It's just a wholesale kind of thing that we do. I guess that's the issue.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Martin
let's
Amidu
hope
says
so.
he's going to start prosecutions soon.
Hey,
Right? Yeah.
wow.
So
You know, when you want to line up all your ducks in a row, you know, it can be difficult. But
yeah, well.
you want everything to be perfect before you set off. And that obviously, there's no such thing as perfect, right? So I'm glad he's decided now that he's going to push forward, regardless of, I mean, I hope that he doesn't still have challenges, but even if he does, that he's still going to push forward.
Challenges. He does have challenges,
In
which he
accessing
outlines.
information?
Well, he said the office would, okay, so he complained of not having enough investigators, but gave an assurance that he would manage until funds were released to enable the office to recruit more staff.
So still, the funds have not been released.
He said the office would recruit about 251 people and purchase modern investigative gadgets within 1 year. So he's hoping that this would happen. He also said there had been instances when issues not related to the mandate of the office had been referred to him for investigation. For instance, he said the banking crisis was brought to his attention, but said he could investigate the issues only if they were corruption related. And then
But
he goes on to
that's
say
why
that
it was brought to him
one challenge, but that's
investigate.
not, if it's not related to corruption, if it has nothing to do with corruption, he's
But
got.
how has he determined that there is no corruption involved
Well,
in the banking crisis? How did he make that determination?
I don't know. Mr. Amidu said one challenge experienced recently was the leaking of a letter he wrote to a high office in Ghana, an issue which he said was being investigated. He said he was very much aware that some people in government and out of government did not like the fact that he had been appointed the special prosecutor, but noted that that would not deter him from fulfilling his mandate. So yeah, he stressed on the letter that was leaked.
Right, yes. Now, but the thing that I've noted is that he still says the funds have not been released.
Yes, he doesn't have enough funds to do everything at a go. So he has some investigators, for instance, but he says he could work with them until
you see,
he gets a lot more money.
What I'm wondering is this: after a year of complaining all the time that he's not being funded, spending his own money to bring cases and all of that. The 180 million is assigned to him, and we heard about it in the November budget reading. But is he saying that money has not been released? Because everybody, even Linda Ofori-Kwafo, we spoke to her and she said,
who is on the board, by the way,
board chair. She said that now things should be able to move full speed ahead because the money has been made available. So, but it appears that what we're learning from Martin Amidu is that no, the money has not been made available. So what is the delay? What's the problem with the 180 million? Are they going to give it to him in bits? If that's the case, then what is the first bit he asked for? Was it not investigators? Or what? I mean, what is it that he needed first? And have they given him that? So I would love to learn a bit more. So I guess
it's given us a lead so we can ask, like you're asking a lot of questions, so we can get answers. Well, but this is what we can share with you in terms of his challenges as outlined in this report by Mabel Akubanase in Accra in the Daily Graphic newspaper.
Right.
Okay, so I guess we can now talk about.
We can.
You've got more information on NAM1?
Yes, so this story about the retired police officer, I think that is the fascinating one. Is the latest to me anyway, because I read it this morning or late last night. It's about a retired police officer, David Nomanyo, who arrested NAM1 for fraud in 2012. Okay, so bear in mind this timeline. 2012, arrested for fraud by David Nomanyo in Kaswa. Right. Now, he says that if the man had been jailed at the time, then, of course, Mensgold would never have happened, and all of these people who today have been duped.
But it comes back to, did he build a good case?
Yes, that's the good question. So this is his, narration of events. He says that, look, he arrested the man somewhere in 2012. He was a police officer as a detective at the Wager police station. Then I'm quoting him, then this gentleman and his associates were operating a company they called SF Mensgold Ghana Limited, where they succeeded in defrauding some 53 Ghanaians, and a report was made to the police. And then I was charged to investigate the matter. The investigation led to the arrest of Nana Appiah Mensah and one other person, William Achu Tekbo. Now, after investigations, we found evidence that they actually conspired to defraud the complainants. And so we accordingly charged them for defrauding by false pretenses, and they were put before the Circuit Court 9 in Accra. The case was ongoing, and a year later, I exited the police service, and so I stopped following the case. But when this Mensgold issue popped up, I tried to find out who was behind it, and it turned out to be this same gentleman. And so I found out from my colleagues at Wager District what happened to that case, and I was told they stopped going to court. A
Just
bench
like
warrant was issued. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. Okay, this is something we ought to be able to verify. A bench warrant was issued for his arrest. And so that meant as far back as 2013, the police had a bench warrant issued for the arrest of this guy. I don't know why he was not arrested, and he went on to do what he has done now.
Even more publicly, with celebs.
While there is a bench warrant out for his arrest in Wager, his home suburb, where he often returns like a king, riding in his 4x4 with his head sticking out of the roof, waving to people under police escort.
Thank you.
While there is a bench warrant for his arrest as far back as 2013. For me, I would like to verify this. I would like to go to Wager. The police station is called SCC. I want to go there and request information on that bench warrant. How was it resolved? Was it resolved? Was he ever arrested and brought in? Why did they stop going to court?
We could also follow up from the courts.
Yes.
Because police may, because of what has happened, they decide not to give you information.
Well, they can decide that, but we thankfully live in a country of laws.
Yeah.
So if I have to go the long way round to get that information in the absence of the right to information, I will still do it. So I think it's in their interest to just give it to me now, or give it to the Supreme Court. Yes, so there you go.
But this is revealing because, if we had seen this process through and we're not just abandoned it, and I hope we did not, I hope that something else came up. That's why we didn't follow this through.
Something else like what?
Perhaps. Well, I don't know.
What does your imagination kick up as a possible reason why a court procedure, a prosecution?
We have to find out from the AG. And it's interesting. So if we abandon this, and today we're saying that we're using taxpayers' money to follow the man who's been arrested in Dubai for a different offense, are we not better off seeing, sitting back and watching him being prosecuted there for whatever offense than us going to negotiate what and bring him back for what?
Now, you see, here's what this makes me think of. These customers, perhaps they have a case against the government of Ghana. Perhaps they have a rather strong case against the government of Ghana. One, for if this process ended for no good reason, they will have a case there because it is their failure to prosecute him which led to his ability to now start a business called Mensgold.
Come back in full force.
Yeah, I mean, they may not have won the case. We don't know that. But the fact that they failed to continue, that guaranteed that this man stayed free. So he stayed free and started a business. A business which this government should have regulated. Because every organization of this nature falls under regulation. This government continuously failed to regulate this organization. The Ghana Revenue Authority, and you notice that I keep mentioning them these days, because I see a massive failure on their part.
Yeah.
In other parts of the world, as soon as you start spending and throwing money around, the IRS or the GRA or whatever, they will come to you and audit your accounts. First of all, to find out what kind of business you are into and if you are indeed paying the right tax. Now, if the GRA had bothered when he was bringing in his fleet of Rolls Royces if they had bothered to audit him, perhaps we would have found out what he's up to and either shut him down or put him under the right regulation.
I agree.
But as it is, we allowed him to constantly argue with the regulators in the public domain. The regulator says, watch out for this man. And then he comes out and says, well, no, it's wrong. They are wrong. They don't regulate us. Okay, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. That is completely legal. The American government once accused Microsoft and took it through a process, accusing it of running a monopoly. Microsoft fought back. They argued publicly, and in the Senate or in Congress or wherever it is, the hearings were held. Okay, Bill Gates went there. He argued his point. So there's nothing wrong with that. And as a customer, the fact that the company is arguing might even give you more assurance that they are the real deal. Okay, so all this happened. Then SEC finally decided to go and look at what they are doing. Went to look and came back and said, we don't regulate them. That's another claim that a customer can make against government of Ghana. Eventually SEC came back and said, oh, okay, no, we think we do. We want them to give us some documents. Documents were not coming. So SEC said, okay, shut down this area of your business. Knowing fully well that as soon as you shut that down, because your suspicion is that it's a pyramid scheme, so as soon as they stop taking on new customers, it will collapse. But they made no plan for that, no provision for that. He was being investigated by IOCO. They put him on bail, but somehow he was able to travel out of the country. Whether they seized his documents or not, we don't know. They certainly did not freeze his accounts. So you see, these are all points at which a customer could point a finger at government and say, you didn't do your job. And as a result of that, I find myself in this situation.
Yeah.
Whether greed or not, greed is not illegal. True. You know? So
let's just read what came through yesterday. Reason we're here today. This statement released by the Public Affairs Directorate of the Ghana Police Service says Nam1 arrested in Dubai. On Wednesday, January 9, 2019, the Ghana Police Service confirmed report that an arrest warrant has been issued for the Chief Executive Officer of Mensgold Limited, Ms. Ananapia Mensah, aka Nam1, and 2 other directors of the company on charges of defrauding by false pretenses. This follow reports by customers of the company to that effect. 2, that same day, an Interpol alert was triggered to facilitate a search for him globally. 3, on Sunday, January 13, Ghanaian officials in Dubai were informed by Emirati officials that they had already arrested Nam1 as at December 7, 2018. His arrest in Dubai is to facilitate investigation into suspicions that he had been involved in a gold trading deal gone bad within the Emirati jurisdiction. Ghanaian officials have visited Nam1 in the custody of Dubai police. Engagements with Dubai authorities on the next steps have commenced, and the police administration assures the public that due process will be followed. So the man was arrested in Dubai January 9, December 7, 2018 apparently, and Ghanaian authorities only got to know January 13 in the face of the Interpol alerts that was triggered, in the face of us saying that we were investigating, we're interrogating, he had been granted bail, whatever it is. So many things not adding up. What is latest is the fact that we've taken officials from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the Attorney Generals, and we're sending them to Dubai to start a certain negotiation. So many things that we doesn't really make sense. How about the 2 other persons that this arrest warrant was issued, asking for the arrest as well? Didn't we realize that Nam1 had left the shores of Ghana on or before December 7? Didn't we know that he had not returned back in the country? Don't we know these things? We will interrogate these matters properly after sports this morning.
Well, I think one thing is for sure, we didn't know. I mean, I think that's
How could we not know?
Okay, so the Director General of CID spoke on this, I think it was a Super Morning show, and she stated that they have no record of him leaving through Kotoka. Okay, Yeah, they have no record of
But remember
him
that,
leaving
did I
through
hear
Kotoka.
Emirates officials? Okay, it wouldn't be the airline. I think initially it sounded like
Emirati.
it sounded like the
Emirati.
airline officials.
No,
So how did he get to Dubai?
We don't know.
He didn't go through Kotoka.
Well, he didn't.
He didn't exit. Okay, well, all right.
Well,
Okay.
apparently
we'll
he
we'll
didn't.
come back. We'll come
Apparently
back.
he crossed the border into Togo and then into Nigeria, and from there, I mean, we don't control Nigeria's, immigration, so we don't know how he may have flown from there. We don't know.
Okay, so we'll talk about this properly. Let's just quickly see what's happening on myjoyonline.com. Hopefully we'll get some 1 minute to talk about Brexit. Today is a big day and a big deal to your people. So, we've got to talk about
assign these people to me.
We've got to talk about Theresa May and the votes that she needs badly today. But this is myjoyonline.com, Kojo.
Right, and got a few stories here. Change in ECG management won't result in price hikes, PURC assures. I wonder by what locus they are making this assurance. Ablakwa wants bipartisan parliamentary inquiry into Mensgold saga. Bipartisan parliamentary. These are two words that don't fill me with comfort.
See, we're not assured because you could go through this and come back with two different reports anyway.
Bipartisan, that's two parties, right? Which two? NDC and MPP already have lost hope. Parliamentary, right? This parliament.
We could see them go through this and come back with two different reports.
Indeed, indeed. That's my opinion. Yesterday had this title, Whose Flock is Namwan? I love that. And this is Nana Nsakwa asking the question, is this not a person who goes to church? So who is his pastor? And at some point, should we not start holding these pastors responsible for the products of their churches? From tabletop groundnut seller to regional CEO of UBA, story of Abiola Bewa. And that's a truly inspiring
Absolutely inspiring.
Yeah. Right. Game of Thrones, final season premiere date revealed. Hey.
That's those who are addicted.
14th of April. My goodness, how will I survive till that day? 9 p.m.
Are you guys excited about anything else like this?
I don't think so.
Hey, Charlie, the fans for Game of Thrones.
See, the beauty of it is that Game of Thrones is based on a book, but the TV series is now ahead of the book. The writer has stopped writing the book and is working on the TV series. So he keeps
saying that you guys don't like reading books anyway these days.
I guess he has realized that. But I was reading the book. At some point, I just had to think, okay, now what happens next? I guess I need to watch the TV series. And it's wonderful, by the way. You should
Sounds like everybody watches Game of Thrones.
One District 1 factory, government to assist Kasapreko for $20 million Exim Bank loan. Okay. And I'm not disturbed about Mensgold saga, Joyce Blessing says. And finally, Mensgold muddle, lawmakers and regulators failed us. Okay, also confirmed Namwan nabbed in Dubai more than 1 month ago.
And it's incredible that we didn't know
says
this.
it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up, Charlie. Doesn't. Let's talk about Brexit. MPs are preparing to vote on whether to back Theresa May's deal for leaving the European Union. So the so-called meaningful vote would take place. Later, as 5 days of debate on Brexit comes to an end, Mrs. May has called for politicians to back her deal or risk letting the British people down. But if you've been following the story, they say she's going to lose. The only thing that they don't know is the margin, but she is going to lose.
She, of course, is hoping to pull an upset. But you see, I think that there is something hovering in the subconscious of the British population. They're thinking, I wish I'd known as much as I know now when I voted.
Well, that's some. There are some who still don't regret. They would have voted the same way anyway.
Yeah, you see, and I don't know. Because the margin was so slim, the yes vote, the margin between the yes and the no was so slim.
But it's still over 70 million people, right?
You mean total?
As in, votes wanting out.
Yeah. So, no, 70 million, that's a bit too low.
Wait, hold on.
The population of the UK, I don't think is up to
okay, so I'm giving wrong figures.
But we'll double check. And,
something like that.
Yeah, we'll double check how many people voted to exit. Well, I think it's time for sports, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Who are you?
Oh, sports?
Smiling.
No. I was just still the Brexit.
Hey,
Still
what's up,
Brexit.
Waji?
Sounds like I'm addicted, not to Game of Thrones, to Brexit.
Brexit.
Yeah. We'll bring you sports.
You need to watch Game of Thrones then.
No, I'd rather watch tennis.
Why?
You follow the Grand
Should it be
Slams?
mutually exclusive?
Well,
watch
I don't
tennis
know.
and Game of Thrones.
I'm sure Benedict will bring us and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will try. I'm not sure. But the Australian Open started yesterday.
Yeah.
All my favorite peoples are in there. And so, yeah, Benedict will bring us some updates on how it went down. The opening games, the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year, by the way.
God,
So
look at
stay.
the excitement.
So stay with us.